Alright, today we're going to be looking at Original EDP by Lacoste. If you're thinking of buying this fragrance or any others over at FragranceNet, use the code EVDF30 to get 30% off your entire purchase. Use it and you'll not only help support this channel and save some money, but you'll be a huge mensch, which is decidedly much more important. Way back in one of the greatest years for movies ever, 1984, Lacoste was at its peak with every preppy asshole wearing their polo shirts, collars popped, pants pegged, and hair slicked back with enough gel to flood the Suez Canal. That year, they released their first fragrance, simply called Lacoste, some might say trying to emulate the success that Ralph Lauren had had with his polo fragrance a few years earlier. It was a big, bold fougere fragrance with a lot of citrus green floral notes and a rich, mossy, woody base. A fantastic fragrance that I wore with pride in my youth. This year, Lacoste decided to emulate Ralph Lauren again and update their original fragrance with a more modern sensibility, the same way Ralph did with his Polo Cologne Intense. Let's see if it was worth the effort. This new open ditches a lot of the original citrus notes, but not entirely. It still gives you a bold bergamot to start things off, but adds in a spicy pink pepper and green cardamom note to freshen it up. Certainly not as bold of an open as the original, but those were different days back then, back before we knew how badly Ronald Reagan was screwing up this country by deregulating corporations in the banking industry. The middle mixes clary sage and lavender notes to create a soapy, almost metallic feeling that elevates this fragrance from good to gripping. It also adds a soft, creamy feeling which makes this a little more interesting than the original's green floral middle. The base brings in notes of patchouli, sandalwood, tonka bean, and amber extreme, which is basically an amber note who recently went to the X Games, shredded on the half pipe, and then slammed a Red Bull. If the original Lacoste was David Lynch's version of Dune released during that glorious summer of 1984, then this new one is more like the new Dune films that came out recently. The new ones are masterpieces filled with stunning visuals and incredible moments that will stay with you, but the original Dune was insane with over-the-top acting, weird whispery voiceovers, and giant space monsters that looked like they had genitals for mouths. I love the new Dune films, but I'll always have a soft spot for the 1984 version and how balls to the wall it was. Presentation takes the original bottle and updates it a little, adding a magnetized cap, which is always a fucking plus. The atomizer is strong, delivering an even, wide spray that will not disappoint. Longevity is very good, giving me 7 to 8 hours on my skin with strong projection for the first couple hours. Is this going to get you compliments? I believe it was Pope Benedict XVI who said, look, if you're wearing fragrances for compliments and you're not getting into heaven, that's just a fucking fact. God hates that, so knock it off. If you don't want to go to hell, better listen to the Pope and stop caring about what other people think. Final thoughts? This is a great fragrance, but it's not as bold and reckless as the original. But don't listen to me, go find it, try it, and see if you like it. If you do, buy it. If not, then find something else. It's just that easy.